it's just so wild. It just seems like every 15 minutes something changed. New information was coming through, a new message was coming through. I'm sitting here today and realizing that we should be in Boston getting ready for, Hockey East championships. And you just think that all of this seems like it happened so long ago. But it was really only, 7, 8, 10 days ago at most. And, we'd be getting information out to the staff, and we'd be sending out emails and sending out texts, and we're doing all these group meetings to catch people up on the changes. And then you'd get a note that said, oh, you're going to have to play your quarterfinal series without fans. Oh, your women's basketball championship game is off. Oh, the Hockey East quarterfinals have been canceled. And then hearing that, basically all sports in the United States have shut down and just hit one right after the other. And it was a little bit surreal. And in talking to a lot of my colleagues around the country, we've never been through anything like this. And, there's no playbook for it. And it was rough because you felt like information you were giving everybody, 15 minutes later was outdated. And just trying to keep people up to date and trying to get the best information to people was really a challenge. We've got to be the adults in the room, we've got to show the maturity, and we've got to show the leadership, because a lot of times our students will follow the example that we set. And I think our staff's done a really remarkable job. And, there's been, nobody's been going crazy. There's been no histrionics. There's been no, fear mongering or anything like that along the way. It's been very much a business-like approach, but a very upbeat approach. I think people have kept the right attitudes. I think they've followed the directives we've been given to the letter, the protocols enacted, not just by the campus, but the system and the governor. I think people have been very diligent about following those and finding creative ways to stay engaged and involved. I'm in the building right now. I think I'm one of 3 people that are here right now. So people have been following our ask to work remotely and to do the social distancing element of the safety protocols. And our students are recognizing that they need to be vigilant about this as well. So really proud of the way everybody's handled this. It's certainly uncomfortable, but I like the fact that we've got a lot of cooperation going. People are sharing ideas on how to get some work accomplished, and people are getting creative in how they can handle things remotely. And this is going to pass. This will eventually roll through, and we will be back to business as normal. But I'm hoping some of the things we learn and some of the lessons that we gain from this, from this disruption will make us better going forward. Just like everybody on campus, we're moving as many people to remote operations as humanly possible. Now, obviously, there's certain elements of our operations that can't work anywhere but here. I think about our facility staff needs to keep the building running and handle any emergencies as they come. We've got our sports medicine staff, which all the modalities are here for rehabilitation and other things. They've got to be able to work here. And then folks in sports performance, there are no other places that we can go to get that work done. So what we're doing is we're working on rotating schedules. We're having people in the building at various times to make sure we never end up with too many people in one space, that we can keep the room protocols the way we've been asked to. We can keep the social distancing of 6+ feet the way we've been asked to. That it's easy for our custodial staff to manage the cleaning of the buildings as they've been asked to do. It's odd because it's very disconcerting when you see an empty building like this. Normally this building is so full of life and so full of energy. But people have found ways to be creative, and the supervisors have done a nice job making sure folks have the autonomy to work the way they have to. But more importantly, we keep everybody safe. And that's the biggest thing for us. We have to remember in athletics, we're a high touch, part of this campus. We have a lot of physical contact. We interact with a lot of people, not just on this campus, but in this community. And we don't want anybody who may be carrying this virus or may be susceptible to it to become endangered because of the actions of our staff or our students. Well, it's every course is going to be a little bit different, and every faculty member has to adjust based on their curriculum. It's going to be a lot different for somebody in the social sciences or humanities-based fields versus something in the hard sciences, and how they're going to be able to deliver their course content. Anne's done a wonderful job of keeping up with what the faculty are going to require, and she has been able to get that information out to students on a pretty aggressive schedule so they can get it ahead of time. We've delayed the start of school another 2 days, so school and classes won't resume until Wednesday. That'll give faculty a little bit more time to be able to figure out how to deliver their course content. And we're seeing faculty be really creative. Some are going to hold their classes via Zoom. Some are going to record their lectures and email it out to their students. Some are even going to the old school correspondence type courses and mailing out packets to their students. You saw the students the day afterwards, and there was a lot of tears, a lot of hugs, a lot of shaking of heads and people asking if it was an overreaction. I think as the reality has set in, I think the students have come to grips with the fact that they're not going through this alone, that their peers on every campus have gone through it. Life can have some cruel twists sometimes and be incredibly unfair, and this was one of those circumstances where that was the case. But that being said, our students have done a remarkable job in how they've handled themselves. We've really seen this group rally and really take the high road in all of this. It would have been very easy to complain, and people could have felt sorry for them, or the students could have felt sorry for themselves. We're not seeing a lot of that. What we're seeing is a rallying around each other. In some cases, I think the teams have even grown closer together through getting through this. And I hope it builds the relationships. This is something, sometimes the tough points in life are the things that cause people to rise up and do even better. I'm hoping, because of the character of the students we have, that's going to be the case for Black Bear Athletics. There's just no easy way to say, okay, I follow steps A through Z here and we're going to get it all right. And, we're learning as we go, and this is going to pass. We're going to be back up and running. The lights will be up. We'll be playing sports again here at the University of Maine, and we'll be having a great time. And you know what? It's, I think adjusting to a life without sports is going to get people around the country to realize how much they miss it. And sometimes we take things for granted. And it's sometimes a hard lesson when you lose touch with something and you realize how impactful it is in your life, that when it comes back, hopefully you can love it all the more. And, for our students who, so proudly wear the blue of the University of Maine, who it means so much for them to be here with their peers, with this community, representing this university, we can't take the opportunities that we get in our lives for granted. And I'm expecting our students, our faculty, our staff, our fans, everybody to come back even stronger. And recognizing what UMaine Athletics means to this community, recognizing what our students mean to this setting, it's going to give us a chance to reflect. And when we come back, we're going to be better than ever. And I think that's the focus we've got to have. We are already working to prep to make ourselves better for when we come out the backside of this and we're ready to run again. And I'm already looking forward to that day.
This Dunkin Latte is crazy delicious. I want to remember everything about this moment. The rich espresso, the pillowy foam.
What about me? It's just weird that I'm not in there.
Try our medium lattes and cappuccinos for $2 from 2 to 6 p.m. at Dunkin.
I truly believe that if you're gonna do something better, you gotta start by innovating. Think about how to solve for a customer problem in a way that's quicker, different, and more customer-centric. The bank's promise has been fundamentally the same from the beginning till now, and that's ensuring that all that we do is making the lives of our employees, our customers, and the communities better. And it's their better, not what's defined as our better.
What motivates us at Casella?
I want to help our customers recycle as much as possible.
Because I care about the environment and how our company impacts our towns.
And at Casella Organics, we find new uses for all sorts of materials.
It's hard work.
But I'm helping people every day.
And that makes me feel like part of the community.
A community I care about. So I do everything I can to sustain the resources of our environment.
Casella, dependable, caring people, part of your community.
Supposed to be some interesting talks at this conference.
Well, someone should give a talk about this Dunkin' Go-Tos deal.
I just made the slides for that talk.
It's gonna be a good talk.
Dunkin' Go-Tos, a great deal for $2, $3, $4, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'.
What makes a legacy? It takes more than bravado, more than your attitude, or the face you show to the world. Your legacy is your story. The place you carved for yourself in history, and who you helped along the way. The actions you take to earn it. The things you do even when the sun isn't around to see them. our legacy, helping you build yours. Visit FisherPlows.com or your local dealer for more information.
One of the first, we are the first in the state of Maine, one of the first in the country to have a food pantry on a college campus. For that reason, we've helped a lot of other people try to open them as well. From the beginning, what we've wanted to be is a resource to our campus community, students, faculty, staff, as a way to help them. We know that financial times are very difficult. Students are trying everything they possibly can to reduce their expenses so they don't end up with as many loans when they graduate. We've got people that come here on scholarships, but they don't have a lot of money to support themselves outside of their academic world. We've got people that are trying to support their families when they're here. So there's a lot of need. The Hope Center in Wisconsin did a couple of national studies, and they estimate that about 38% of students in four-year colleges and universities are food insecure. So take our numbers, even if you rounded it to 10,000. That's a lot of people. We're blessed that our campus has an unlimited meal plan for people who are living in the residence halls, and that it's a requirement. That takes care of a huge amount of our students, but so many of them move off campus afterwards, and the minute they get off campus they think they can save money, and then they realize how expensive everything else is. So they need to find us so that they can come and get food. We started out with just non-perishable foods, things that we were able to raise through food drives and donations and going to purchase food. We've built up now to we recover food from the University of Maine dining halls on a weekly basis. College students love that because all they have to do is microwave it, no actual cooking involved. And as of this year, we're also able to get food from the Good Shepherd Food Bank. We finally figured out how to partner with them in a way that met their guidelines and our rules and restrictions as well. I have a team of students comprised of Green Campus Initiative students, Green Team students, sometimes Gamma Sigma Sigma students, who are working with auxiliary services and dining to go get a van, and they go to all three dining halls and they pick up things that were not served. So food safety restrictions as they are, if it was out on a serving line or they dipped into a pan, they can't recover it. That's something that then would have to be composted or disposed of. But anything that stayed in a cooler, in a warmer, that is still completely covered can be recovered for us. So they write on it what it is to give me a hint sometimes, and they date it, and our students go pick it up and bring it here. Then we have another team of students that gets together and we subdivide it. So those come in humongous pan sizes, and we divide it out so it's more like casserole size. We have foil containers, plastic containers, Ziploc bags. Everything gets labeled, everything gets dated. We follow food safety guidelines. The students that are overseeing the process for me have gone through food safety training. And we put everything in the freezers so that the students are then able to come and get it and choose. We also have money, like I said, that University Credit Union campaign, as well as Clean Sweep that happens in May when we sell off all the things that the students have left behind. Both of those provide funding to us that then we can use to go out and fill in the gaps. So maybe I can't get cereal from Good Shepherd, maybe I can't get pasta from Good Shepherd right now. Those are things that I can go buy at the grocery store to make sure that we have the meals kind of rounded out so they get a little bit of everything. One of the things that makes this successful is collaboration. That there's no way that my department and I could do this all by ourselves. This is truly a campus initiative, and there's so many different places on campus that help. So CEAC, which is the Classified Employees Advisory Council, and then the Professional Employees Advisory Council, do food drives for us. The biggest one is at the President's Holiday Luncheon. So they ask employees to bring in foods to donate to us to help fill our shelves during the holidays. Brian Perkins, who teaches FSM 101 on campus, he does an extra credit project with his students at the end of every semester where they can bring in non-perishable food items and earn some extra points towards their grade. Hundreds of pounds of food come in from that as well. There's Greek organizations and student organizations that do food drives, and then the athletics department has done the food frenzy for a couple of years. One of the first years that they did it, they did a lot of online ordering that people could go in and order food out of a warehouse that then was delivered to us. But a lot of what they've done the last 3 years is just have people go out and purchase food and bring it in, and then they bring a pickup truck over here with all the food for me later on. This year, they were ridiculously successful with what they brought me for food. It was a little bit less in the way of actual individual items, but they set up a Venmo account with the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. so that people could Venmo in money, and the Food Frenzy is a competition with America East. They were able to get credit for all of the money towards that competition. So they donated over $3,000 to us. And one of the catches that we have with Good Shepherd is that we need to get people to send money to Good Shepherd for us, which is a little complicated, but it has to do with IRS guidelines. So they were able to do that. So that was one of the huge deposits that I got at Good Shepherd, was that they made that check out for over $3,000 to Good Shepherd, and that will bring in thousands and thousands of pounds of food for me through Good Shepherd. Student, faculty, and staff are welcome to come in, typically. So, and on a typical time, all you have to do is look and see when we're open. We have our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We always have the hours up there. I even make sure the Google hours are correct. I go and change them every time, so that people will know when we're open. It changes every semester because it's dependent upon the student employees that are working here generally. So I tell people to stay tuned to those. All they have to do is come in and bring the main card. When they bring their main card in a typical week, they're allowed 15 items. We have shopping bags. They can come in and grab one of the bags and walk through, pick what they want. It's totally like going to a grocery store. They just swipe their card for me, and then that's all the data that I need to be able to keep to know who came in, how many times they came in and visited. Well, obviously being in here, it's not a very huge space, so we're being careful when we're open that there's not more than like 4 people in here at once, that we're kind of taking it one person at a time to come in and get their food and come back out, so that they're not interacting with others when they come in. That's only temporary until I figure out the to-go thing, which will hopefully start within a week. Then I won't have to worry about them being in here. They can just be in their cars. So that's one thing. We have a lot of students that are living in the community that are people that have been coming here, and new people. So as people are coming in now, I'm asking them for their email addresses. If they are willing to give it to me, great. That way I can set up a mailing list and be able to get them the information immediately instead of just hoping they're watching social media. But we're also telling them to keep an eye on that, because if anything changes, they'll be able to see that really quickly. My goal is to continue to be here. This is a need, a dire need, and we may have more students that have been on campus that are now going off campus, and they may not be able to get food. You know, we're talking about things like delivering food to them, so we can go leave it on their porch if they're not able to leave their houses. We don't want people to go without food. And there are definitely students and some of our staff that are, you know, now not in classes, not working, not doing work study, that are really in dire need. So we're trying to be as creative as we can and as safe as we can, and make sure that we can get them the food they need. And dining has been amazing. They have one dining hall open right now, and they've been giving me food as the days go on. There's other stuff that they've told me that they're going to have available later. They want to do everything they can to be able to support these students. So our whole campus is going to be working on it.
Whether you're building a home, garage, or redoing a kitchen, successful projects start with good planning. For help designing and drafting your next project, talk to the helpful sales staff at Hammond Lumber Company. If you need them to, a Hammond sales rep can come out to your home or job site to see what you have in mind. Hammond's Home Planning Center or Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring Center will help you turn your ideas into accurate drawings and help you prepare a list of materials you'll need. Delivery is free within striking distance of any Hammond location. Learn more at hammondlumber.com.
Do you know your Maine dairy farmers? Chances are we're a lot like you. We are parents, grandparents. We are small business owners. We are a part of our communities. We are your neighbors. We are undeniably dairy.
What motivates us at Casella?
I want to help our customers recycle as much as possible.
Because I care about the environment and how our company impacts our towns.
And at Casella Organics, we find new uses for all sorts of materials.
It's hard work.
But I'm helping people every day.
And that makes me feel like part of the community.
A community I care about. So I do everything I can to sustain the resources of our environment.
Casella, dependable, caring people, part of your community.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big military family. You know, my dad served. He was a Navy diver for a number of years. It was Operation Desert Shield. So, you know, late 80s, early 90s. My brother, Army Reserve Infantry. So he was stationed out in Africa for 9 months. potentially being recalled here with what's going on with the virus. So, I've had a strong military history in the family. Both my grandparents served, one of them in Korea, the other one in World War II. So I think what we do with the Dead River Military Appreciation Game it's really cool, it's really special, and it's probably one of the best promotions that we have, and it's certainly meaningful to me and my family. A lot of things that my dad used to talk about and things I talk about with my brother, I try to carry over. A lot of times people want to compare the two. Of course, there's not really a comparison, but in terms of the leadership and things that we ask the guys to do, there's a lot of parallels with that. So one of the things I always joke with them about is when I was younger, my dad said, the captain always has an answer. And he's always got to run his ship. And so I always thought that was a good little easy phrase. I say it a lot, and try to translate that to our players who we ask to lead the team as well. We make a big deal out of it during the week, and one of the smaller things we've done is we wear the camo hats. I know the ticket promotion that we do is huge because it's really the very least we can do for those who've served. And it really inspires the people that are thinking about doing that in the future as well, because we get a lot of younger people that come to our games as well. So I think it's always been a really important promotion that we do. We ran the video of my brother last year, which was really, really cool. That's probably one of the few times that I've kind of left the game for a moment and actually noticed what was on the Jumbotron. So that was a really cool moment. And I just think it's a really important thing that we do to honor those who've served. I'm very proud of my brother and my whole family, and we've had a large number of people that have served, not just in my immediate family, but outside of that. So, in that moment, it was a very special moment. And again, I'm very proud of my brother and what he's accomplished and what he continues to do. So I think it adds a lot, and it also humanizes, the whole experience, because, anybody can say they're doing a promotion and this is what it's about, but there's real people behind these things, and that's the point of it. And that's why military appreciation it's critical to what we do as Americans, but then for UMaine, everybody knows somebody who served or is currently serving. So it's just a special way to add a nice touch to an already great experience.
put, it's the best 3 years of my life. I'll cherish every moment I spent here. Fans are unmatched to anywhere I've ever played, and I have a bunch of buddies around the league, and again, every time they come here, they say it's the best place I've ever played. To the boys that I've played with, past and present, just outstanding guys. Couldn't have been happier to make the friendships I have and the brothership that I'll have for the rest of my life. And last of all, the coaching staff, starting with Coach Red, Ben Gite, and of course Alvin Michaud, and Scott Hellman this year was really important. Just tremendous. They couldn't say how many hours they put into us, and just the love and effort that they have for this program is extensive, and it really was the best time I've ever had in my life. Couldn't have been anywhere better, in my opinion. I made such leaps and bounds in the right direction, being guided by, of course, Alvin Michaud. Having him as a mentor on and off the ice, I couldn't have been more lucky, and really can't say enough about that guy. But again, having the guys come in every day, pushing each other to get better, setting the bar high was really important, and having a culture of winning and commitment and just all-out competitiveness was one of the biggest things for me. And just coming to the rink with a smile every day was tremendous, and I'll definitely cherish that for the rest of my life. To the fans of Maine Black Bears, it's truly been a pleasure to play in front of you. And the big thing for me was that it wasn't just playing in front of 5,000 fans in the Alphon, it was playing for the entire state of Maine, and for that, the entire East Coast, because everywhere we went, there was always Maine jerseys in the barn, and it was so special to us to walk out and see those blue jerseys. And again, it's more than Orono, it's the entire state of Maine, East Coast, West Coast. It's amazing how much the Black Bear means to this entire country, and to put on that jersey every day and play in front of you guys was truly an honor that I'll always remember. Going on a road trip, you know what I'm saying? Just like forever, shipping off Boston now. These have seen better days. A couple holes in there. That's probably one of my favorite helmets out here. That's a good job. That's really cool. Love this thing, yeah. Not too many people know about this. The little shadow paint right there on both sides. It's the old logo. Yeah, I really like that.
And the back has Alaska on it. That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Packing it away. Honestly, the best moment at Maine was, I can't put it on one particular game or instance, but if I were to bring up one, it would be senior night this last year, and having the Alphon completely packed and coming out for warm-up and the student section's already buzzing. It's you can't put it into words what it feels like, and to have the tremendous support of you guys every day was so important to us. And again, I think that senior night really capped it off well, and to get that 1-0 win and get that win for our seniors that have done so much for this program was extremely important, and I'll definitely remember that for the rest of my life.